I can't do this without you. We're in this together. I know it just hurts so much. We'll get through it.
Hey everyone and welcome. Today we're jumping into a story it's just timeless. It's this powerful tale about friendship, loyalty, and what happens when power gets complicated. We're going to be talking all about the incredible friendship of David and Jonathan.
So let's just start with this question because I think it's something we've all felt at some point. Have you ever had one of those moments where everything is just clicking? You're on top of your game, people are celebrating you, and then boom! That very success is what gets you in trouble. It's this wild, confusing feeling, right? To fall from grace because you were too good?
Well, that's exactly what happens to our hero today, a young man named David. And what's crazy is his story doesn't start with some mistake. It starts with his greatest victory, which, ironically, leads directly to him becoming a wanted man. It's this incredibly fast, brutal fall from being a national hero to a fugitive, literally running for his life. I mean, just try to picture it. This kid, David, a shepherd, has just done the impossible. He took down the giant Goliath with nothing but a sling and a stone. Instantly, he's a legend. He's the talk of the entire kingdom, a total celebrity. He gets invited to the royal court. I mean, you'd think he's made it, right? He's at the absolute peak. But here's the thing. When someone rises that fast, they cast a really long shadow. And that shadow can be pretty threatening, especially to the person who's already sitting on the throne. Turns out, being that popular can be a very, very dangerous game. And it all kicks off with this. Just a simple line in a song people are singing in the streets to celebrate the victory. Sounds harmless, doesn't it? But for the king, King Saul, this little chant is the spark that lights a massive fire of paranoia. To his ears, this doesn't sound like a celebration of a hero. It sounds like the people have found his replacement. So for King Saul, this isn't just some pop song. No, it's a direct threat, both politically and spiritually. He looks at David's incredible success and thinks, wait a minute, God's favor is leaving me and going to him? And that fear just stews. It turns into this ugly, murderous jealousy. And just like that, the royal palace, which should be a place of honor for David, becomes a death trap. We're talking about the king himself, twice throwing a spear right at David, trying to nail him to the wall. It's intense.
And this slide just lays out the central conflict so perfectly. Because this story isn't just David versus Saul. It's really a clash between two totally different ways of seeing the world, and they're embodied by a father and his own son. You got King Saul eaten up by insecurity and fear. And then you have his son, the prince, Jonathan, who is driven by loyalty and this incredible, powerful friendship.
So, right in the middle of all this chaos, with the king literally trying to murder him, something amazing happens. A totally unlikely and incredibly powerful alliance is formed, right there, right under the king's nose. And we're not just talking about two guys who respected each other as warriors. No. The way it's described is so much deeper than that. It was this profound connection, a bond so strong it was like their two souls were knit together into one.
Okay, so to really get what happens next, we have to understand this word, covenant. This isn't like a modern contract or a pinky swear. Think of it as the most serious life or death promise two people could ever make. It was a totally binding alliance, and you were making it before God. There was no backing out.
So what they do is just extraordinary. Jonathan, who, remember, is the prince, the heir to the throne, he takes off his own royal robe, his armor, his sword, and he gives it all to David. This is huge. It's this massive symbolic act. He's basically giving his own royal status, his own future, to his friend. It's a public statement that he's siding with David against his own paranoid father.
All right, now we get to the climax, where this incredible covenant they just made is immediately put to the ultimate test. The friendship is one thing, but can it actually stand up against the rage of a murderous king? Let's find out.
Okay, so they come up with this super risky, high-stakes plan.
It's really their last shot to figure out if there's any hope left. The plan is, David's going to hide out and skip a big royal feast. Meanwhile, Jonathan will stay and see how his dad reacts. Then, they have a secret signal worked out with some arrows that'll tell David whether it's safe to come back or if he has to get out of there for good.
And yeah, the answer comes back, and it's terrifyingly clear. When Jonathan tries to cover for David, Saul just explodes. He completely loses it. He not only confirms that he wants David dead, but he turns on his own son, Jonathan. He screams at him that as long as David is alive, Jonathan's own claim to the throne is worthless. And then, get this, he even throws his spear at Jonathan.
So the message has to be delivered, and it's done through this secret, heartbreaking code. Jonathan goes out to the field where David's hiding, and he shoots his arrows past his servant boy, yelling out the signal they'd arranged. And the message is just brutal. It means go. David has to run, and there's no turning back. And their last goodbye, it's just one of the most powerful moments in the whole story. After the servant boy leaves, David comes out from his hiding spot. And in that moment, all the politics, all the danger, it just melts away. All that's left is the pure, raw grief of two best friends who are being ripped apart by one man's jealousy and hunger for power.
So, okay, it's an ancient story about a prince and a shepherd. What does it actually mean for us? You know, why are we still talking about it thousands of years later? Why does it still hit so hard?
Well, for one, look at Jonathan. He teaches us this really deep lesson about what loyalty actually is. It's not just blind obedience, especially when the person in charge is corrupt. You could almost call what he did a faithful betrayal. He chose to be faithful to his promise to David, which he believed was the right thing to do over the crazy, evil demands of his own father, the king. And that took an unbelievable amount of courage.
And then there's David. I mean, think about his journey, losing everything, his status, his home, his safety. It would be easy to see that as a punishment, but the story frames it differently. It was a crucible. It was a fire. Those years he spent on the run, hunted in the wilderness, that was the very thing that shaped him from a shepherd boy into the strong, wise king he was meant to be.
And that really leaves us with a pretty powerful question to think about in our own lives, right? When we go through our own kind of wilderness, maybe it's a setback at work, a betrayal by a friend, or just a time where everything feels uncertain, it's so easy to feel like we're just trapped. But this story kind of challenges that idea. It asks us, what if this isn't a prison? What if it's a forge? What if the very thing that feels like an injustice in your life right now is actually what's building your greatest strength?